This is what is mainly rhyming about. It's about sharing the last sound. Sometimes it's not only about sharing the last sound, maybe it's a few sounds in the same line. The third sound device is going to be alliteration. Alliteration is very common and we mainly used it many times in our writing sessions. What is it about? It's the repetition of consonant sounds at the beginnings of words. Please importantly remember this note. It is repetition of what? Consonants. Consonant sounds. Mr. Waleed, I'm sorry, but I'm not that good in English. Would you explain to me what is sounds or what are consonant sounds? And I don't know. I don't remember them. Really, guys. Consonant sounds are any English sound, but not a vowel one. What is a vowel one, Mr. Waleed? The a, e, u, u, I, all these, they are sounds and letters, by the way. The a, e, u. These are all vowel sounds. The other ones are consonants, like the t, b, d, k, s. These are all consonants. And why I say sound? Because mainly English is not about letters, it's about a sound. Okay, great. 7 silver swans swam silently seaward. Wow, I like it. 7 silver swans swam silently seaward. That is alliteration, a perfect alliteration. And you can consider it a tongue twister. Usually alliteration is the one that we use to make our tongue twister like competitions. Try and say it as fast as you can. 7 silver swans swam silently seaward. That's a nice one. And here we have alliteration. They all shared the same first letter. Now, Mr. Waleed, is it important that all, or is it necessary that all the line share the same first consonant? No. It can be for 1, 2, 3 times repeated. Not all the line, not necessarily. However, it would be an advantage if you made it that way. It will be good. It's not something bad. So, Peter Pepper pick a pick of pickled peppers. And that is a very common one. Peter Pepper pick a pick of pickled peppers. That's another alliteration. So alliteration is very simple. Just repeat the same letter. You will be perfect one. Onomatopoeia. Oh, our beloved onomatopoeia, where we like spend days and days to explain before. So what is onomatopoeia, guys? Huh? Onomatopoeia. Words that are used to represent particular sounds. In other words, onomatopoeia. The same word, the same sound. Boom. That's onomatopoeia. Crash. Onomatopoeia. Flush. Onomatopoeia. Creak. Onomatopoeia. All these are onomatopoeia words, and we have studied them before, and we have taken and we have watched many videos with the sounds and their words, right? I guess it's not that bad. It's not that difficult. It's very simple and very easy, manageable for you to know. Usually, any perfect poem should include onomatopoeia to make it more descriptive, more vivid to readers. Great, like the samples you're giving me, like buzz and whoosh and these things. Thank you. Buzz, I missed the buzz. Crash, boom, bang, zip. Repetition. Mr. Waleed, didn't we study alliteration? Why we repeat it again? No, repetition is different than alliteration. Alliteration is when you repeat the same first consonant in the word. But repetition is different. How? Repetition, repeating of a particular sound device to create an effect. You repeat the sound device, not the sound of the letter. Like this. To create emphasize, a poet may repeat words or lines within the poem. So you repeat a word or you repeat a line. You don't just repeat sounds. You repeat a line. Imagery. Imagery is that's your profession. That's your game. Poets use words that appeal to the reader's senses of sight, sound, touch, taste, and smell. What does this remind you with? The same 5 words and the same senses. They remind you with what? In what part we did use this before? Huh? Tell me. Tell me. What part we did use the five senses in? Who remembers? Who recalls? Sitting. Thank you. That's right, Nada. Yes, we use it in sittings. In the setting of the story, we used to use the five main senses because they were really important to make the reader more integrated and merge into the piece of writing you are using. Great. So in other words, we need to use images. Which senses does the following stanza appeal to? We will read a stanza and see which senses did it use. Back, he spurred like a madman, shouting curses to the sky. With the white road smoking behind him and his rapier branched high. Now, before you talk to me about the images, and before you talk to me about what senses he used, I want you to tell me the rhyme scheme for this stanza. Again, to remind Ruqayya and the Malika, Mahmoud, the rhyming scheme, which is the A, B, C, D, and blah, blah, blah. What is the rhyming scheme for such thing? Think of it. Huh? Think of it. So just to recap, the rhyming scheme here is going to be A, B, C, B, because the last ending of each line, madman, that is A, sky, B, behind, different, C, high equals sky, same sound, A, B, C, B. Great. Now let's go back to the idea of the idea of the senses. What senses did we use here? Mr. Waleed, I don't understand. How can I find the senses? We don't see what he saw. You didn't what? I didn't see. Yes, you didn't see. So how will you guess? From the words. So read the words. See the verbs he used. These verbs are actions of what sense? For example, shouting. Shouting. When I shout, you do what? You hear. So what sense we used here? Hearing. Huh. With the white road smoking behind. White road. How can you know that it's white? When you see it. So he used sight. Smoking behind. Smoking behind. Smoke. How can you figure out smoke? By two things. By smelling, you smell, or by watching. So we have sight, hearing, smelling. Huh. Is this difficult, guys? Very simple, right? So here the writer succeeded covering three senses of the main five ones. I just want you to read it again, see if there are any questions that you need to highlight by the end. Here we go. Figures of speech. The figures of speech. Figures of speech are a special kind of imagery. They create pictures by making comparisons. Ah, figurative speech, Mr. Waleed. Since you're talking about comparison, I think I know what you're talking about. Really? You think you know what I'm talking about? I really doubt it, unless you are a very clever student. And I do have lots of you. So yes, I really trust that you will know it. They are what? They are what? Hmm? As you all suggested that, yes, that figures of speech are nearly similes, metaphors, and such things. Let's discuss them more detailed. Simile. A comparison that is using like or as. Comparison using like or as. For example, talk of your cold through the parkas. Folded stabbed like a driven nail. So like here, comparing The parka to the driven nail. There's comparison. Metaphor. Metaphor kind of comparison, yes, but is much stronger. It doesn't say he's like or he's as. It says he is this thing. For example, it describes one thing as if it were another. The moon was a ghostly galleon. The moon was a ghostly galleon. So here he's saying that the moon is a galleon, tossed upon cloudy seas. That's a metaphor. It's more stronger. And we had a common or a very like popular and common sample that I used in the class when I used to say that he's a lion, or Adam is a lion, or Yasin is a lion. I used to say he is a lion, and this shows it's more stronger than when I say like or as. You get my point? Usually shorter is better in such things. Extended metaphor. A metaphor that extends throughout the entire poem instead of just a few lines of the poem, that keeps with you all the time. Like this sample here. That's a long one. I'll just keep it for you on the presentation online so you can read it by yourself, but we don't need it right now. Personification. It is very important. Personification is when you give a quality to a non-living thing, or even a living thing, but not a human, but you give it a quality of a human being. Again, personification. So again, personification is when you give the quality of a human being to a non-human. For example, the lion cried in tears. The lion cried in tears. This is personification. As I'm giving a lion something that is not in, something that is for humans. It is not for animals. Another thing. Which figures are used to describe the following? Now let's do this exercise. Here, my love is like a rose. Our love bloomed in the garden. The rose tipped its head as we passed by. Think of it. I'm sure as you all thought, my love is like a rose, that's a simile. Our love bloomed in the garden, personification. The rose tipped its head as we passed by, another personification. So, the mood or tone of the poem. The feelings that the author's word choices give the poem. You remember when we started at the beginning of the session and I told you what atmosphere and what mood have you got in this presentation or from this poem? Yes, the choice of words put you in the mood of what? Happiness, sadness, or whatever. That makes difference. How can you guess and how can you get from the words? Okay, great. Theme. Theme of a poem is its central or main idea. It's like the theme in the story or the plot in the story. Each theme or plot in the story should have a specific idea or a specific point of view to talk about. And that's what happened here as well. That every poem should have a point of view or a main idea that you talk about or discuss. To identify a poem's theme, ask yourself what ideas or insights about life or human nature you have found in the poem. Okay, let's go on and complete. That is the end of today's presentation. I would appreciate if you please contact me for any more further questions. Talk to me. I'm open all the time, as you know. And thank you for your active listening for the presentation.